All right, so we are starting into week 11, and I'm going to share my screen with you. So now we're on the, you should be on the right-hand side. You probably, I don't know if you'll just be able to see me because I'm the only one talking, but that's fine. So we're going to take a look at 140. 140 is pretty simple. We're at assignment number 11. We're going to finish up 140 long before the end of the semester based on how easy this is, but that's not a major issue. So you still have your questions. You have your tutorial, the hairdryer, which is the same one we did for SolidWorks, and then the motor housing. So these are all pretty much the same thing you did in SolidWorks, but just using Inventor. So this is a pretty easy week for this one. 201, however, we're doing some different things. So we're starting flat patterning. And flat patterning is something that we did in SolidWorks. So as we go into flat patterning for week 1, so our first assignment is a drawing, and this is the drawing. So what it's going to ask us to do is starting at point A, so at this four-sided triangle here, we are going to draw a flat pattern that would actually be able to fold and put this together. Okay, so some things you have to account for. So there, the base is a rectangle, right? And then we know we have 3 more triangles that are going to spin off from that. So really what we're going to have is we're going to have a triangle or a rectangle with some triangles that are going to come off the sides that are going to be able to make that. Now, here's the issue. Can you just look at this and say, oh, that's how far it is? What do you have to do?
Find the true size and shape.
Yeah, you're going to have to get those sides in true size and shape before you can determine what that flat pattern is going to be. You can't just use the drawing. So it's going to take more than just this little space to actually get that. So you've actually got to do some, at least 2 sides, right? To find out what the true size and shape of surface, well, I'll call this surface 1 and surface 2. You're going to have to find out what the true size and shape of that is so that you can sketch it out over here on the right-hand side. So feel free to move point A over. This is just a starting drawing for you. So we're just kind of starting to look at how we do flat patterning. And then that's going to blend us into our second assignment, which is the sheet metal. So you're actually going to have to use this, and I would use SolidWorks myself, where you're going to create this in SolidWorks, and then you're going to use the flat patterning tool to flat pattern this. So that's what we're going to submit. So you can see in your instructions, you're going to design the part using the sheet metal features in SolidWorks. It is metric. There's your material, your density, and then your interior radius, and then your trim sides bend should be on. So you're going to make the 3D model, and then what we want to do is we want to unfold it. Okay, so this is something that you should be fairly versed in already, being how we did this in 150 and 190, and we did some in 240. So this is not new to you. So we're going to turn this in as a flat pattern. And where this is all going is for the fidget spinners, you are going to have to create some packaging, and you're going to have to, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to send me, and I'm talking ahead of time here, is you're going to create that flat pattern, that package for your spinner, and you're going to fold it up and you're going to have it ready to go. And then you're also going to send me the pattern. I'm not going to cut them and fold them. And then in one of our Zoom meetings, you're going to have to show me your package folded, and so that we know that it works. So you're going to have a physical piece of evidence that you're going to have, that you're going to show me, and then you're going to have the physical evidence that you're going to submit to me in a drawing. So that's our first one. When we go back into, which would have been day 2, or the second part of, my internet's really slow when I'm running Zoom. When we get into the second part, you've got the holder clip flat pattern. So you are going to have to do the same thing here. Is you are going to have to create this in a 3D model, and then you're going to have to unfold it. And what I'm looking for is not a drawing like this. I'm looking for the flat pattern so I can see where the bends are going to be, so that we know how this thing is going to fold up. So these two are going to take a little bit more time, just because you're probably going to have to refresh yourself on using your your sheet metal tools and getting your bends and your fold lines. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so just looking ahead, let's go back to what we get into week. So we're going to hit some well drawings next week, and we are not going to get into cams. We won't have time to get into cams and vectors, but we're going to get into our the packaging. So that's going to be part of our final parts that we'll get down here, and then of course here's your final exam. But you know, we are on week 11, and that means there's only 3 weeks left. Remember, next week is supposed to be spring break, right? And Governor Whitmore is fixing the roads, so she said you don't get a spring break. So we're just going to work through spring break, being how you have nothing better to do with your time anyway. So we will continue to work through spring break. I'm not going to overload you. I mean, this week seems like a pretty simple week if I were you. What they just announced, no homeschool for the rest of the year. So you've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 assignments to do over the next 6 days, 1 a day. That means you got to not play video games for an hour and do some homework. Did you guys see the email from Mrs. Donath about credit, no credit?
No.
Well, the college is offering, and this is not for you guys, but the college is offering a credit, no credit option. And this will apply to none of you, but I'm just sharing the information with you. Credit, no credit does affect your GPA in the fact that it doesn't help your GPA up or down. It just kind of stays put. So you guys are all doing fairly well right now. So that's not an option that you're going to want to use. And Ms. Donath sent out an email. You should have gotten one from her saying that we don't expect that any of you would be using that option, that you're going to want to stick with your GPA because it will help your GPA for your homeschool as you use this for credit there for graduation as well. So the other thing is, I don't know if some of you are looking at summer classes, if that's something you're interested in. There are some summer classes out there that are available to you. I think those would be things you would have to pay for. And most of it, I don't think there's anything out there that you need to take because it's 140, EG110, and 150. I think there's 212 out there too, but not anything that you guys need to focus on, but just something that you may need to consider if you're one of those people that aren't doing so well, maybe in 140 or that sort of thing, that there is an option coming up. Again, that you would have to pay for that. That's not paid for by the early college if you retake a class. Make sure that we're staying relevant. Obviously, we're missing a bunch of people here. And, you know, you guys got to stay diligent. You know, college work does not stop. You know, I mean, I'm teaching 7 days a week now instead of 4 because I'm on every day. If you're having issues and need some help, the best way for me to get help to you is through Zoom. So if you're having an issue, you know, Bella was having an issue getting her software installed. And then she was asking me questions, but it was question I didn't know because I couldn't see anything. But if you let me know or send me an email saying, hey, Mr. Ward, can you Zoom? What I can do is I can Zoom and I can invite just you. And then when we get there, you have the ability right now, each one of you has the ability to share your screen. So at the bottom of your screen, you could select share your screen, and then I could see your screen just like you could see mine a moment ago. And then I can talk to you and we can work through your issues, which makes your life a lot easier when you have someone looking at your stuff as opposed to trying to put that into a text format and trying to understand what I'm saying back in another text format. Not to mention, it takes half the time because we can just see it. It also, through Zoom, I have the ability, just like we do in the classroom, that I can take over your computer. If you give me permission, then you can allow me to actually use my mouse and my keyboard to work on your machine. I can't take anything off or send anything in terms of viruses. It just gives me remote control access so that I can control your computer like I'm sitting there next to you. All right? Any questions about any of that stuff? Yes.
So you said there was what 3-4 weeks until, is that until the end of the semester?
Yeah, semester is done.
So
I'm looking on my calendar here.
Isn't it like near May 1st-ish?
May 1st? No, we're done before May 1st. Bring up my calendar here a second.
So would that mean you want the so we're going to be doing the weekly assignments each week, and then that's also when the engine parts will be due also?
Yep. So we are still in March right now. So when we move over into April, we are officially done on the 29th of April. So here, I'll share this with you. So you can see that, oops. My control screen's in front of I can't see everything. DR90, DR180, DR118, EG110. So your exams would be the 27th and 28th. So that's when everything is going to be due. So, we're here. Next week we have spring break. And then we have 2 weeks. This is exam prep week, and then we have exams. That's it. So we're looking at, 1, 2, 3 more meetings and then finals. So this is going to, that seems like a long time, but it's going to go pretty quickly. That we're going to get to the end of the semester, and, then it's going to be May, and you'll have nothing to do until September unless your school goes back to school in July. As I've heard rumor that schools may go back into session in July and August. Just get ready for that, just letting you know. So that's kind of where we are and where we're headed, all right? Anybody else have any questions, concerns?
How will the exams work?
It'll be just like we're in class. So
All right.
if there's a drawing exam, then I'll put it out there and say, here's your drawing exam. It'll be timed so that we'll say, okay, I won't actually have a quote unquote time frame, but I'll say, okay, I'll time the exam so the exam will open and you'll have 2 hours to complete it. So, Michael, you could take yours at 9 o'clock and 9 to 11, and Corey may sleep until 2 and take hers from 3 till 5, but that's okay, but you'll just have, it'll be a time slot for you to finish that. So it'll be all on its own. It's kind of like the SolidWorks exams. Once they start, and then you got a time. If you don't finish it, you don't submit, then you don't get the points. Does that make sense?
Is the exam? Is it gonna be like the same time as normal? Because I know the PCs that we use at the Kent ISD work really well, but the PCs we got like to take home, they like to crash. So will it be like extra time to do with that, or is it gonna be the same time span?
We give all of our exams are 2-hour exams. None of the exams for either one of these classes are difficult. They're not anything should take you 2 hours. For most of you, it's probably going to be like an hour and 10 minutes. But if you have an issue, you can just let me know and I can help you. I'm not so hard fast that, sorry, your computer crashed, you fail. If you let me know, hey, something just happened, I can open it up and work with you. That's not a problem. Okay. Any other questions as we move forward? All right, so we're missing a bunch of people here. So it was really helpful to have people, checked in, and even though you're not really in class, but to, see your faces and have communications. So, I'm sending out emails, but I'm not getting responses. So if you have anybody else on group chats, let them know, hey, we need to meet, we need to see people. All right, if you would do that for me, that'd be great. All right. So if we don't have anything else, stay safe, stay healthy.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
For weekly due dates for assignments, is it Sunday or Friday?
Sunday night.
Okay.
To be totally honest, I'm really not focused on deadlines. I just want you getting the work in. You'll notice that the assignments aren't going away. It just says when it's due. It tells me that it's late, but I'm really not working on what's late, what's on time. I'm just looking at what's completed. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. So if we don't have any other questions, we'll see you guys again next week, Tuesday, 11 o'clock. Not 1, but 11. All right. We'll see you guys. Take care.